New build video, boys! Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day, and today guys we're going to be going over a brand new Invoker build for Remnant 2. This build will be utilizing Engineer and the brand new Invoker class from the brand new DLC to try and get the most out of our skill and elemental damage. So we can just watch our skills and mods do all the work while you just kick back, maybe have a couple brewskis, life's good. So what actually makes this build perform so well? For starters, we have, I bet you couldn't see this one coming, amazing damage. I know I say this every time, but that is the main selling point for a lot of builds, the damage. You actually have really good sustainable damage with the new Invoker skills and also the Engineer turret, just blaying out rains of fire. Funny enough, we have some really amazing mod generation. I cannot stress this enough. It's like so good. I nearly thought that I was playing Archon, but we're not playing Archon. We do have pretty decent survivability. I do usually like to lay on a little bit more damage bonuses just so I can see how high I can actually get the damage with certain classes and certain builds. Even though I'm taking more damage bonuses, we still have pretty decent defense from our traits and stuff, but you can also make this build a little bit more defensive if you're okay with just maybe losing a little bit of damage. So that's all the good there is to this build. What is the bad? Well, there's really only maybe one bad, and it's the fact that you might have to pick up your turret and remove him into a better position. There's nothing worse than when you put your turret down, you forgot to call him back, you're behind a wall, and now he can't fucking help you out. So that is probably the only negative. You got to pick your turret up, you got to put him back down. Sometimes when you're putting the turret down, you get yourself in a bad position. So just using the skills, you can kind of put yourself in a bad spot, and then picking up and putting down turret might be a little bit too tedious for some. But overall, besides that, I really can't think of too many negatives. Maybe, again, a little bit less on the defensive side, but we do great damage. Everything's dying really quickly. Sometimes the best defense is offense. But besides all that, this build is really, really fun to play. The new Invoker class is another stroke of genius from Gunfire Games. I've been absolutely enjoying myself both playing this class and also trying to theory craft a lot of new builds for it. Overall, I really do think Invoker is a fantastic addition into Remnant 2, and I am also really excited to see what other people can come up with the Invoker class. Alright, let's get down to business, gentlemen. Enough of that intro nonsense. Let's go over what gear and traits we will be taking for this setup. So first up, I'm going to go over the skills that we are running. We have Way of Kaula, and then we also have the heavy weapon flamethrower. Now the Invoker's damage perk in Trance gives us a bonus to skill damage and also elemental damage. So one would like to believe that Way of Kaula would be getting double dipping effects because it's a skill and it's also doing elemental damage, I think. And then for the flamethrower, I'm not sure if it's double dipping. I think when the turret's on the ground, counts as a summon because you get the health bar up in the top left corner of your screen. When you pick it up though, I think it then becomes skill damage. So if you pick this bad boy up, you're going to be getting that double dipping effect, but it's much stronger in turret form because when you pick it up, it is a flamethrower. When it's in a turret form, it shoots out flaming rockets. Big difference. So even though we're not double dipping, we are getting Invoker's elemental damage bonus to our flamethrower, which is a nice 15%. But that is why I've gone for flamethrower, and Way of Kaula, man, is so strong. This skill is filthy. This is just going to nuke all the enemies in the area for you. I have amplitude, so I've got 45 meters on top of the 30 meter base that it does have. So 45 meters is pretty big, and it drops fucking lightning bolts everywhere that do insane amounts of damage. And we are boosting that further to try and get even more damage out of Way of Kaula. And also the Invoker skill, Way of Kaula, does apply haste to yourself and also your turret. This is massive for just about everything we're going to be using in the build. Haste is always very nice to have. I think it is worthy to note that you can recharge your turret's ammo by using a relic. So when it's out, you only get a little bit of ammo recharged into the turret, but when you do have it stowed away when the turret is not out, you do get a significant amount of ammo for your turret. And when you put your turret down, pick him back up, put him down, you will continually get that 10% skill cooldown from the Invoker Prime perk. When I first started putting Engineer and Invoker together, I didn't really like it, but then I changed a few things around and it started really synergizing quite well together, and Way of Kaula and Flamethrower was the way that I did achieve this. To be fair, I haven't tried Impact Cannon with Invoker. Impact Cannon might also be really good, but again, it is really fixated in one spot, at least with the Vulcan and the flamethrower turret, you get range with it. A bit of a disclaimer, this build is going to be rough, okay? I forgot to mention this build might be a little rough. I might have forgotten something because the DLC has only been out for 2 days. I've grinded it as fast and hard as I could to, you know, try and bring you guys content faster. If there's anything I have missed or there's something that you think would be better, please let me know down in the comment section. Again, I've tried making this as good as possible, but I just have a feeling I've probably forgotten something. So for the gear, I am just running the new DLC outfit. We've got the crown, we've got the disciple mantle, greaves, and also van braces. Now for the relic heart, I'm not 100% set on the ruined heart, but I am just using it because it does give our mod power back. We do have really good mod generation. So that's why I might switch this out. I just don't know what I'd switch to. Probably just shielded heart or something more defensive. It's completely up to you. This heart is not set in stone. Next up we have the ruined heart. I would like to mention this heart is definitely not set in stone. Feel free to use whatever you want. I did just go to the ruined heart because it gives me more mod power, but we do have really good mod generation, so I'm thinking about maybe switching this out. What I would switch it to, don't know. Maybe shielded heart. I do like the quilted heart. But yeah, it's just use whatever you want. Just personal preference, really. But for the upgrades, though, I have gone increase to elemental damage, increase to skill damage, and also increase to mod duration. You could also put skill cooldown, skill duration, all sorts of things here. I felt mod duration is good. Now, for the weapons we are taking with this build, we are using the brand new monolith. You get this from completing the DLC. Now, the monolith gun is really strong. This is a really strong gun, and one of the main reasons it's so friggin' strong is that it applies exposed on the target, which is going to increase all damage by 15%. That is filthy. That is friggin' filthy. Now, the main way we want to use monolith is not by primary firing. You are going to be primary firing every so often, only to build up mod power so we can spam sandstorm as much as possible. Now, sandstorm is a much more consistent way to apply exposed. It's bigger area of effect. You can catch more enemies in it. Means more exposed that you're going to be able to apply on the target. Now, this does do elemental damage, which is nice. You're going to get a nice bonus from the Invoker damage passive. But the best thing about this is you can shoot out multiple sandstorms. It does not cap at one, doesn't take the sandstorm away. When you try and shoot out another one, you will just keep shooting out more and more sandstorms, which just means more kind of like damage over time you're going to have on the target. Very strong mod. This gun overall is really strong. It's really fun to use. I've put the feedback mutator here. This I think is almost a must if you want to have like a lot of mod spam. So when you use sandstorm, you're going to be getting 200 mod power back because of feedback, and then any damage that sandstorm does, you're going to get extra 15% of that damage dealt back as mod power. So you can really start spamming out sandstorms because of feedback and some other stuff I'll get into. Now for our melee, put whatever you want here. I don't think I've used melee with this build at all. If you really wanted to, you could put the dervish mutator here, just so when you do melee, you can try and get your skills back a little bit quicker. I didn't feel like I had an issue with having to wait for skills to come back up, so I didn't really worry about Dervish, but if you do want to get your skill cooldown back maybe a little bit faster, Dervish might be the way to go. And then last but not least, our handgun is the Nebula. Now, no brainer here. Nebula, I've spoken about this gun enough. It is very strong. The Nano Swarm did recently get updated, not this patch, a previous patch. It now applies the Corrosive Dot, which is very strong. If you guys do not know, the Corrosive Dot makes you do 10% more damage. So corrosive status effect is very strong. It's probably one of the strongest status effects in the game. I've put the Harmonizer mutator here just so when we use this mod, we recharge Sandstorm, because we want to try and prioritize getting as many sandstorms out as possible. We can only have one Nano Swarm at a time, but we can have multiple sandstorms out. So we do want to try and prioritize getting out as many sandstorms as we physically can, and Harmonizer helps with that. Between feedback, having Harmonizer and feedback, you're pretty much always going to have sandstorms to shoot at the enemy. Now, moving on over to the amulet and the rings, I have got Chains of Amplification here. Increases all damage dealt to target suffering from a status effect. Since we're always got the Flaming Tyrant out, he's always going to be applying that fire status effect. Nebula is another way to help get this status effect with the Nano Swarm. And then worst comes to worst, you can also use the Krell Axe to try and apply that status effect also. So now that things have been balanced, 20% damage overall is huge. That's like some of the best you can actually get off an amulet now, besides neckbone necklace. So 20% is very respectable in an amulet slot now. I've got Burden of Destroy here. This is a no-brainer. It's going to increase all our damage by 15%, so that's mod. skills, etc. And because it's all damage, you get double dipping. So if you shoot out a mod and it's elemental damage like the Sandstorm, I think it should be mod and elemental damage. So it should double dip on all damage bonuses. I could be wrong there. Maybe let me down in the comment section if I am wrong, but I think that's how it works. Now, the big synergy that this build has comes from Stone and Malevolent. The reason we're able to spam our mods as consistently as we are is because we do so much elemental damage. All we do is elemental damage. Turret, elemental damage. Storm, elemental damage. Mod, elemental damage. Mod, elemental damage. All we do is elemental damage. So we are constantly, always recycling through our mods very, very quickly. If you have the Way of Kaula up and also Flamethrower, watch your mod generation go up like crazy. Use Nebula, Harmonizer, recharges mod power for Sandstorm. Use Sandstorm, it's going to recharge mod power because it's an element. Also Feedback will recharge your mod power. So we have insane mod power generation. That's why I thought Ruined Heart's kind of pointless now, because I did kind of change a few things and I haven't actually changed the heart. Because I am prioritizing trying to get a lot of mod power back, this build really feels like an Archon build. You have so much mod generation coming out your ass, it's not even funny. Now, next ring I've got is Braided Thorn. This did just recently get an update as well. Before you had to get a kill to get that 10% crit. Now you just get 10% crit. This is an insanely strong ring. I can guarantee you a lot of people's builds are probably going to be running Braided Thorns now. And then last but not least, of course, we've got Singed Ring. This also did get changed. It's no longer multiplicative, but because we are consistently getting burning damage out there, 12% is a nice increase to have to all of our damage, which should hopefully have like the Way of Cooler and our Sandstorm mod double dipping. Again, I could be wrong there, but I think that's how it works. Now, last but not least, we are going to go over the trait cards. Now, again, remember, nothing is completely set in stone. I think I'm happy with this setup, but again, this could be subject to change. I might have forgotten something. So I have gone 5 points into Affliction. This is going to increase our status effect duration. This is going to help our status effect stay around for longer, so we can have our damage bonuses 100% of the time. Gone 5 points into Ammo Reserves. This is only for the Monolith. I was finding I was running out of bullets a little bit too quickly because it does have 80 in the mag, so this does help alleviate that a little bit. I've maxed out Flash Caster so we can cast our skills and our mods as fast as possible. 3 into Strongback. This is just so I can wear the armor that I am wearing. Maxed out Vigor. I've got 7 points into Endurance. Max out Expertise to try and get our skill cooldown back as fast as possible. Max out Amplitude. This is going to help give you a bigger Rainstorm and also bigger Sandstorm. This is also going to make your Torrent have bigger AoE as well, so watch out for that motherfucker. He will blow you to smithereens if you're standing in the wrong spot, especially because I haven't put any points into Kinship. So I feel like if you put the turret, I feel like if you just stand behind the turret, you should have absolutely no issues whatsoever. I've maxed out Bark Skin to give us 10% more damage reduction. Okay, I made one boo-boo. I had Blood Bond maxed out. I must have had this from another build I was trying out. So I have taken all 10 points out of Blood Bond because it only counts when you're using Summoner, I think. I have gone and put the other 5 points into Kinship. Hopefully this will mitigate some of that turret damage if he does hit you. And I put the other 5 points in the Regrowth. I think this will probably be good. If there's any other trait card I could put these extra 10 trait points in, let me know. Or I mean, just feel free to put them wherever you want. And then last but not least, we have the Siphoner trait, which is just going to give us more lifesteal, which equals more survivability. And that is basically it for the build video, guys. Hopefully this build did help you. I had a lot of fun putting this together. I say that about every build, but that's just because Remnant 2's a lot of fun to play. What can I say? This really is the lazy man's guide to Apocalypse difficulty. All you have to do is summon your skills, pop out your mods, keep popping out your mods, keep summoning skills, and everyone is dead. It's really just that simple. So I hope you guys are ready. I got loads more builds coming your way. I did obviously want to do Invoker first because that's probably what everyone's going to want to see. We all know the other classes work, but we want to see the new class Invoker work. So definitely stay tuned for that. Appreciate all the love and support as always, guys. And until next time, stay safe. Peace out.